All right, guys, how's it going? Good evening. We've got a Husky game tomorrow, and I got to talk about it a little bit here. Obviously, things have changed a little bit with the Huskies. They're not the team that I thought they could be a couple weeks ago. They're not. So the stakes have been reduced a little bit. The games don't feel as impactful or meaningful. But I want to talk about this one anyway because for whatever it will end up being worth, we're coming home, and that should count for something. Before I talk about this game, real quick, I'm not going to be streaming this. I'm going to be busy when the game's on. I'm not going to be able to stream it effectively. So, no stream for this game. I'm probably going to start streaming Husky games again, their next game, but this one I cannot do. Just occupied on Saturday. So, no stream, just to let you guys know. Programming note. I usually try to stream every Husky game, but this one I'm not going to be able to do. So, with that being out of the way, the last 2 weeks have been kind of letting air out of the balloon a little bit with this Huskies team. There's no other way to put it. I believe they had a chance to win the conference. Now, I don't even think they're in the conversation for best team in the conference. There are several teams in this conference that are just clearly better than them. And that's disappointing. Maybe I got a little ahead of myself when I thought Washington had gotten there. And honestly, it makes sense. You shouldn't be able to go from a terrible team last year to an elite team in 1 year. So that part of it is cool. Like, I totally get this is going to take a little bit of time. I thought those first 4 games were very encouraging, and I thought maybe we were ahead of schedule. But we're not. But we're still on schedule. This team is fun. This team is entertaining. This team does a lot of things right. This team has clear weaknesses that can be addressed with a good recruiting offseason and a good offseason just in general. So I'm not discouraged on that front. Obviously, when you see your defense completely deteriorate over the last couple games and basically leave your team no chance of feeling comfortable in a game, you're never feeling great about where the Huskies are in a game pretty much no matter what, because the defense is just so bad. One mistake by the offense can end the game. That's how it felt last week against Arizona State. Not a good team. Arizona State, by the way, they're not some amazing offense. But this defense is bad enough to where it doesn't really matter that much. So this week, we're taking on the Arizona Wildcats, a team that has a 500 record. If you look at their body of work, they've actually been pretty bad. But against this defense, I'm wondering how much any of that stuff even matters. Because you look at Arizona, they've beaten up on some bad teams, but when they played good teams or even decent teams, they've gotten pushed around. Oregon blew them out last week. They average like 30 points a game, which is not particularly impressive in college football. And they have one of the bottom tier defenses, I think, in terms of points allowed. They're up around 35 or something. So even though this team is 500, they're a subpar squad for sure. And we are 2 touchdown favorites for a reason. We are 89% favorites on ESPN for a reason. Theoretically, we're a much better team. But our defense has been so bad lately, it could be another one of those games where it's we score, they score, we score, they score, we score, they score, and whoever makes the least mistakes wins, and that could go either way. It could be a simple matter of whoever has the ball last wins. Could be a matter of whoever gets the fluke interception or fluke turnover wins, like it was kind of last week with the deflected pass that turned into a pick six on Penix, where that, I think, flipped the game almost indisputably. That was the biggest play of the game, and it came on a play that was a little bit of an aberration. But we could see another one of those this week where both teams are just going back and forth, and at some point something weird happens, and that weird thing ends up kind of deciding the game. So it's hard to have a lot of confidence in this Washington team right now. I do think we're going to win. It'll probably another high-scoring game. I just, for the moment, it's hard to have any kind of faith in this defense. You look at this defense and you go, well, the players just aren't there. We have some nice players in that front seven, but the secondary, we need work in the secondary, and that's not surprising. Like I said, you lose 2 top corners last year with McDuffie and Gordon. And you're not going to replace those guys easily, especially when you lose Jimmy Lake, who, for all his faults, was pretty good at coaching a secondary. So this Huskies team, if every game kind of feels like a coin flip. It's like the Seahawks, right? The offense is really, really good, and I do think this offense, they stumbled a little bit against UCLA, but overall you would still say they're doing their thing. They're giving us every chance to win pretty much every game. They're keeping us in games, and earlier in the year at least, they were winning games. So all I can really say is that I feel like we're going to be able to make one or two plays on the defense, and that'll make the difference. One or two. Because it's been a focal point in practice all week because it's been so bad. And I'm hoping that we can come up with those one or two plays. Maybe we can run the ball really effectively and keep the ball away from Arizona, and that'll be enough to win. But bottom line is, everything just feels a little less significant now. Like, if we win, cool. I want to win. I want to make the best bowl game possible. I want to win as many games as possible. But this team is not great. This team is good. This team is improving. This team is fun. But they're not a great team yet, and we're still working on that. It's going to take some time. We're on schedule. Like I said, we are completely on schedule. The new offense has been taken to very, very quickly, which is very, very encouraging. I hope we can keep it next year. I don't know if Penix is going to come out into the draft or not. At this point, I kind of hope not, because he's somebody who could use another year at this point, quite frankly, and I feel like he could definitely get it in this offense. If we have a better defense next year, he'll be able to showcase himself in an even more positive light with a team that's actually winning. But, this is just trying to find some silver linings on that defense, because if you look at some of the silver linings on the defense, you're going to lose some of them next year. Like, I imagine ZTF's going to go to the draft. He's been here a minute, and at some point he's just going to have to go to the NFL and see what's up. Maybe he won't ever have that monster year as a pass rusher that he would hope, but at some point he's going to have to just say, I'm going to the NFL. I would expect that to happen. So we're going to really have to restock aggressively this offseason. And I'm eager to see how things develop in the second half of the season, but at this point, my goal is to have a winning record, get to 7 wins, and be competitive against teams like Wazoo and Oregon. Because a couple weeks ago, my goal was maybe to beat those teams. Now that seems maybe a little bit silly. But it all starts with getting back on track. And hey, we're at home. At home, where we played great. The last 2 games where we didn't play great, we're on the road. Maybe that'll make a difference. I'm hoping. But yeah, no stream for this game. Just hoping we win. I'll make a video probably sometime tomorrow, or maybe even after the weekend's over, talking about whatever happens in this game. But just hoping for a fun game. All right, see you guys later. Bow down to Washington. Let's get back on track here. Let's get to 5 wins, and let's move one step away from clinching that bowl spot.